In this video, I'm turning the shed brewery into a giant garden hose accessory, and by the end, we'll be brewing beer with reverse osmosis water filtered right here in my home brewery. This project started with a 50-year-old 10 by 13 woodworking shed, and my dream is to create an over-the-top home brewery. So far, we've updated the power, painted the walls, waterproofed the floor, and installed some state-of-the-art equipment. Today, we're starting on the plumbing, and thanks to you guys, I think we have a pretty good plan. The first thing I did was install this hose spigot to act as the inlet for the brewery, which will be fed by my garden hose. Next, I got to work on the water lines, and for that, I'm using 1/2-inch PEX pipe. They sell all kinds of connections and fittings for the PEX system, and it was fairly easy to connect everything together just as I had planned. We've got 3 valves up top for the chiller, the steam condenser, and a washdown hose, and at the bottom, there's a compression reducer that feeds the reverse osmosis system. And on the outside of the shed, I installed a quick disconnect on the spigot to turn this brewery into a giant garden hose accessory. Now, with everything all connected, let's test it out and check for leaks. Surprisingly, no leaks. But unfortunately, when I opened the valves, I quickly found out that there was a problem.
Game over.
As it turns out, these garden hose spigots are equipped with a special feature that doesn't allow water to flow backwards through the spigot. A great feature for a typical install, but not so great for this use case. After some quick Googling, I found the thread size and ordered a cap to fix the problem. Unfortunately, again, when the part finally arrived, it didn't fit. And this must be some strange size because I tried several other thread types and caps, and I never figured it out. Months went by, and when I finally came back to the project, I had a fresh perspective and decided the simplest way forward was to just basically start all over again. I gave up on using the spigot assembly altogether and went with a length of stainless 1/2-inch pipe instead. The PEX pipe came out next, and I took a good look at the connections. These gnarly cinch clamps and pipe clamps look stupid and were certainly bound to leak, so this time around I made sure to get the right tools, and I double-checked each connection as I crimped them on. And while I was redoing the connections, I decided to simplify the design and incorporate some 34mm tri-clamp fittings, the same ones that are on my brewing system. Now, with everything reconnected, let's test it out and check for leaks. I don't see any leaks. This is kind of too good to be true. Nothing. Wow. All right, let's see if the water's actually coming through. Turn this on. This is the feed to the RO. Wow. Okay, so we got water there. And then I hooked up this hose here. No way. Hell yes. So I guess it works. I'm super glad I pulled everything out because this time, not only do I not have any leaks in the brewery, but water's flowing through the system just like I had planned. Next, I filled the system with some low foaming sanitizer to test out my sparge water design. My plan is to collect all my brewing water in the BrewTools B40 And then I'll make sure the main pump is off, turn this valve, and then I should be able to use this secondary pump to move the sparge water over to the Brew Tools mini uni that's mounted to the wall. When I reach the correct volume in the kettle, I'll just close a couple of valves and turn on this badass controller to maintain the sparge water temperature. Boom, that worked great. Okay, so now imagine I'm recirculating up through the grain bed and it's time to sparge. Turn this valve on the kettle, open the valve on the secondary pump to allow reverse flow, and would you look at that? I think this is gonna work perfectly, but there's only one way to know for sure. We need to make some beer. For this beer, I'm starting with some reverse osmosis water filtered right here in the brewery. This faucet came with the RO system, and I mounted it right behind the Brew Tools B40 to make it super convenient to fill the kettle. One thing I noticed already is that filling the kettle takes a long time. So for the next beer, I'm gonna start collecting water long before I wanna brew. Next, I treated the water with some brewing salts, and because this is the full volume, I can know for sure that my mash water and my sparge water have identical water profiles. Once I hit my mash temperature, I started flipping valves and moved the sparge water over to the Brew Tools mini uni, which I've customized with a ball valve and a 500 watt 230 volt heater. And after reaching the correct volume in the kettle, I flipped the valves back and turned on the Brewbuilt controller. This thing is super powerful and super simple with a linear control knob that lets you dial in the power from 1 to 11, and I have a feeling I'm going to be keeping it somewhere around 1 or 2 to keep the sparge water warm. Now it's time to mash in, but I want to keep this focused on the water system, so let's jump forward to the boil and take a look at the steam condenser. I'll have a full grain to glass video on this one when the beer is ready, so make sure you're subscribed if you want to see it when it comes out. Okay, so I'm strapping these pipe clamps on the steam condenser here because off camera, the hose blew off immediately when I turned on the water, and then of course, it happened again as soon as I turned the camera off. But that's the beauty of using tri-clamp on the water outlets because I was able to throw on some ball lock fittings and I arrived at this setup here that can easily handle the pressure created by the condenser. So that water and the condensed steam then drains down through this sight glass and exits the brewery through this hose. And shout out to Mastering Homebrew here on YouTube because this was inspired by his condenser setup. After the boil and the whirlpool, I can turn on the chiller water, which flows down this hose through the chiller opposite the wort and out through that same discharge hose. So the condenser drain is capped off right now, but everything drains out the brewery through the same hose. The RO waste, the condenser, the chiller, and the kettle itself when it's time to clean up. Taking a step back, here are the water outlets I installed. On the left, I attached a 3-way ball valve and I'm feeding the counterflow chiller with a silicone hose and the steam condenser with a ball lock attachment and some draft line, which I've also been using to transfer beer to kegs. Then on the right side, I'm feeding a washdown hose with this quick disconnect fitting for cleaning up at the end of the brew day. And the RO system is tucked underneath the sparge water tank and it dispenses from the faucet right behind the kettle. At some point, I might rethink the drain, but for now, this discharge hose is working just fine. Overall, I'm stoked to have water in the brewery, and I can't wait to finish this brewery build. There's really just one more thing to figure out, and that is packaging. My name's Dan, this is Hops and Gnarly. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I'll see you again soon.